Welcome to the Chaos Sector. We return to the Matrix. Well, seems the chaos has agitated a few out there with our inquiries. Before we continue, let's address that one individual. They had a wall in their response, but we'll extract the most important parts. Quote, I don't just pop in occasionally. I watch every video you guys post that day. I'm normally a huge fan and have verbalized that on numerous comments I've made on various videos. Maybe that's part of my disappointment, because I have such a high regard for the content and reporting coming from this channel. I don't want the reputation to be tarnished. And I feel the Hunter theory is not a well-researched, plausible explanation. I think you guys are better than 99% of these other crime channels, and don't want you lumped in with the disinformation clickbait channels no one takes seriously. I'm allowed to have a difference of opinion and still like you guys. My comment wasn't meant to convey such a negative tone. Unquote. Now that's a great response, and she justified her previous post. Honestly, it did convey a negative tone, and that's why we responded. We had no problem with disagreeing with the Hunter theory, but it was the way she disagreed, as if it didn't hold merit. I mean, he had a knife in the home. Naturally, an investigator will ponder if he possibly was linked to the murders. And that's all we tried to convey. But we responded. Quote, okay, well, just let it be. Since you articulated your view, the chaos will apologize. Yet, your dispute of the theory is subjective at best, not concrete. Again, that should be left at that. Yet your questions about Hunter offering up information about the knife is not seeing the big picture. Dylan is involved, yet who do you think covered for her? The same law enforcement that Hunter gave the information to. Our theories are always aligned within the truth. You don't have to worry about the reputation of the chaos being tarnished. Because an investigation will introduce theories that may not sit well, but since this is a cover-up, everyone is subject to being accused. Unquote. Now the issue about Hunter seems to be what the individual is concerned about. Hunter had a knife. The peers clearly covered up the murders with that call. And if we come to the conclusion, which is our theory, that the call was made soon after the murders, then the setting in the home is even more tense than later Sunday morning. Now you claim she stated, quote, poor Kaylee, unquote. But why would they be mentioning Kaylee's condition when they're examining Xana in the call? Now it's possible that she stated, quote, she warned Kaylee, unquote. Nevertheless, the fact that anyone or anything being referred back to some type of consequence, which is obviously the sentiment here, then this generates all types of questions regarding what that group knew. And if they knew something, then obviously this is associated with the real-time setting during the call. So if we just stopped right there and didn't add our theory as to what could have unfolded during this call, what would you assume was taking place? We broke it down, remember? If you agree that Dylan was absolutely, these are your words, absolutely involved, can we at least suggest to you, can we at least suggest to you the possibility that Emily knew that Dylan was involved? Is this logical? Now, if Emily knew Dylan was involved, and Emily was dating Hunter, who was always at the home, is it also possible that Dylan's outgoing call at 4:27 a.m. was to either Emily or Hunter? Keep in mind, that individual was not identified in the phone records. Yet they identified individuals later that morning, which means whoever Dylan called at 4:27 a.m. was notified about the murders. But of course, their identities would be kept secret. We break these issues down. Think about this. Ethan and Xana were best friends with Hunter and Emily. Ethan and Xana are murdered. Dylan is also friends with Emily. Now we will assume that you would at least entertain the theory that Dylan called them around 4:27 a.m. You're intelligent. You can put that together. So if Hunter and Emily were there around this time, and Hunter goes into the kitchen to grab a knife, due to Dylan claiming she was scared, wait, hold on, let me keep you on track. This is what was reported, right? Dylan was scared, and Hunter came over, ran to the kitchen to get a knife, to essentially challenge the alleged masked man in the home, right? But if Dylan is lying, because she is absolutely involved, as you believe, then she wasn't scared, right? And if she wasn't scared, then the reason for Hunter going to grab a knife is not, I repeat, is not due to Dylan being scared. So if this is not the reason, then there is another reason he went to grab the knife. Keep in mind, we already broke this down. Now the point we need you to focus on is Dylan's involvement and her friendship with Hunter and Emily, who were best friends with two of the victims. They had to know what was going to happen. Dylan wouldn't keep this information to herself. She couldn't anyway, because someone within that circle would know she was involved. And the individuals who were friends with both Dylan, Ethan, and Xana would likely know about the danger. Knowing about the danger and the reason for the attacks and murders causes Hunter and Emily to cover everything up as well. Isn't this what everyone claims about the 911 call? You seem to be in agreement, but not willing to truly accept the possible reality of our theory. Okay, it's fine, we had a slight disagreement. We can move past that. But keep in mind, this is a cover-up. Now, we're not going to get into all of the comments posted, because we'd have damn near 5 hours to break down each and every one of them. Here's a problem, though. I have a question. Why are you following the chaos? For our investigation in the Idaho murders? We assume so, because haven't seen any of these individuals leaving comments on the other content we've presented. Nor the views neither. Okay, so the only thing that interests you is the Idaho murders. There is so much going on in the world, my friends. To only focus on that content on one's channel and not appreciate other content they present is a bit insincere. That's how we see it. We do not embrace grifters as subscribers. Sorry, but that will only apply to those who are doing so. Don't come to this channel to view our episodes merely to latch onto content because it's about the Idaho 4 case. We definitely do not need subscribers. We don't need the views. We only care about the information and truth being revealed. We don't sit around for hours on streams collecting donations. We don't beg people to subscribe, and investigation doesn't have time for all of that. We will address a few individuals, but first, let's put something into perspective. Where did the theory of Kohberger being framed come from? Can anyone remember when that thought process came about? Think back to the early stages of the case. What channel actually presented that theory in their investigative analysis of the case? That's right, it was the Chaos Sector. Yeah, we're going to toot the horn here, because some people need to be reminded that the predominant view of Kohberger being framed was initiated by our investigation and analysis of the information and evidence presented. Meaning, some of your favorite channels who started alluding to that theory and eventually settling on it, they got that analysis from the Chaos Sector. Won't admit it, of course, but it's obvious. Why is it obvious? Because we've watched many channels and examined how they broke down the case. Some have even stolen our theories and presented it as if it was theirs. The point here, the way some of these individuals speak about the chaos in such a dismissive and pessimistic tone, indicates that they're not actually interested in truth, rather, who can create the most talk about the case. There is a difference between talking about the case and investigating the case. Talking, well, that leads to endless streams for hours that goes nowhere in general. Investigating, on the other hand, leads somewhere. You continue to dig into the fabric until you reach a point of conclusion. We've already reached that point, which happened a few weeks early into our investigation, that Kohberger was framed. Quote, and I like both channels, but I don't understand how you say you don't trust Lana when she doesn't put anything out unless she has proof. And she goes off the documents and hearings. Unquote. Now the chaos stating we don't trust Lana has merit, and we will explain why at this very moment. Does anyone remember a video from this very person of college students drunk and were pissing on the victim's home? This was after the murders, keep this in mind. Now what do you think of those college students doing such a thing? Are they sick? Are they pieces of shit? Of course, it's disrespectful to those victims to piss on their property after their passings. But Lana, examining that video footage, somehow felt that entire situation was funny. She was laughing non-stop about the guys, roasting them and such, but the actions of those students shouldn't have had any humor involved whatsoever. Oh, the chaos is overreacting? Having a funny bone examining college students pissing on the property of the victims indicates there is an element of not actually caring about the issue as a whole. Oh, we know everyone will say it's a bit silly, yet it isn't. If you're investigating a murder, at what point is there room for laughter while viewing college students pissing on the murder victim's property? Maybe we're too serious, you say? Or maybe others aren't serious enough. Now, we're not going to avoid this issue because it was presented. Some claim Lana has done more than the chaos. She's provided receipts for everything and such, while the chaos just speculates. What receipts has Lana given that proves someone is the killer? Oh, she doesn't have that, right? Because nobody has it. In other words, receipts that don't lead to a significant trail is arbitrary. Yeah, that sounds brutal, but if you're trying to attack the chaos, then we need to put everything in perspective. Now let's think about what the chaos has done. First and foremost, we exposed that Kohberger was framed. That is the foundation we established, and that has become the consensus of many within the true crime community. We exposed Dylan's involvement. We exposed Moscow PD, the FBI, the prosecution, Bonnie and Clyde, and Batman. Another thing, nobody was referring to Emma Bailey and Demetrius Robinson as Bonnie and Clyde. It was the chaos that gave them that title. We gave the so-called private driver the name Batman, due to his claims of being a superhero after the murders, going into the homes of his female clients, to check inside making sure everything was safe. We exposed the suspicion surrounding the private driver, revealing that it couldn't be Eric Gower, which the very same Moscow PD has as the private driver in their reports. We exposed all of this, remember? Oh, these individuals wouldn't remember, because they just popped up. We exposed that the unmarked cruiser, being the silver Ford Fusion, was one of the vehicles circling Queen Road apartments. We exposed how the FBI obtained a strain of DNA from Koberger's family home, then used that as tangible to plant on a knife sheath. Mind you, they didn't have a match for Koberger until after, I repeat, until after, they collected the DNA at the family home. We exposed how Dylan was actually not a part of Pi Phi. We exposed, or questioned, the oddity of Jack's age being 26 in one report, but 22 in the others. We exposed how the mainstream media avoided addressing the warning Jack Showalter gave the girls, which would have definitely led to a motive. We exposed how the black coat Madison was wearing had been discovered on Taylor Avenue, and detectives took out some sort of weapon, then discarded the coat by throwing it back on the ground. We exposed how the mainstream media flat out made up a criminal action prior of Koberger breaking into his friend's home, yet was never charged with a crime. And we just exposed that very same mainstream media for doing the same thing in the previous episode. We exposed how there was a fake investigation into Koberger being linked to another home invasion case, when they knew it wasn't him based on the suspect's physical description. Most let this stuff fly over their heads, but we expose how it's all a part of the frame job. We exposed the audio in Linda Lane, where there was clearly a physical altercation, and someone may have been severely beaten, or even murdered. Anyone remember the female yelling out OMG in the audio? We exposed the FBI for tracking Koberger before any DNA was matched. They claimed they weren't tracking him in those traffic stops, but their own snitched them out. We exposed, with logic and the physical engagement within that home, that there couldn't have been only one suspect. We questioned if Xana's father and sister had been notified at some point, due to being right around the corner in Pullman. We exposed the inner workings of the frame, suggesting Koberger was framed due to witnessing too much within the drug trafficking circles. WSU Kim could have been a part of it. Clearly there was a link between WSU and the UI, as Bonnie and Clyde floated around that trafficking triangle. That being Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. Most people aggressively disregarded Dot's claims, and they were exposed for being a grifter and such. But the chaos focused on the explanation, and extracted those accounts from Dot, and applied it to the person they claimed to be speaking for. And that was a female neighbor who witnessed Dylan, Bonnie, and Clyde, and two other males outside the home later that morning. Most simply ignored this claim by Dot, but an investigator knows that truth doesn't have a metric, it just exists in reality. Meaning, either it's true or not. It doesn't matter if someone telling you the truth is an opportunist. An investigator uses that truth and disregards the individual. Just like the authorities do with informants, they don't care about them, they only care about the information they can provide. We exposed, what the fuck, should I keep listing everything the chaos has done in this case? Of course others have exposed a lot of these issues as well, but the chaos has already confirmed what happened overall. And that's a frame job. Everything else is trying to follow the best trail to who may have been directly involved within that circle. Now if this person thought about it, who has revealed and exposed more in this case. The chaos or Lana. It's not a contest, but if you're going to take a shot at the chaos, then expect a shot in return. Lana can defend herself. Our opinion is simply that. Let's see, if Lana stated she didn't trust the chaos and addressed something regarding our content, would you then ask Lana, why don't you trust Chaos Sector? Probably not. In fact, you would perhaps agree with her. And you know what? It's your opinion to think so, just like it's our opinion to think so. But here's where the problem stemmed from.
Quote, well, it seems the lime green Elantra is starting to become a mystery. Some claim it was not the vehicle spotted on the Ridge Road camera, yet they claim the vehicle's lime green color tone can't be detected simultaneously. So if you're claiming the cameras can't detect the lime green color, as it isn't within the color spectrum to be picked up, how can you claim it's not the same Elantra on Ridge Road? Now that's a valid question, right? Sure, we have asked when the vehicle was identified as lime green, before or after the murders. Some claim that Lana has proof the vehicle's color was changed in 2018/2019. Now this is where everyone got triggered when we stated we didn't trust her. And we gave the reason for that. Might not agree with it, but it's our reason. No need to be triggered by someone claiming they don't trust someone. We've definitely been criticized, we've been slated wacky conspiracy theorists, just presenting content with no facts and such. Look at these comments, we receive a lot more criticism and trolling perhaps more than any other channel. Quote, unsubscribing, your channel has become mentally unstable. Unquote, quote, give it up you clowns. You've been working that Brian is innocent mess for 2 years. You have zero credibility. You don't even use your real voices or pics. Amateurs. Unquote. We're investigating a murder case, dumbass. Yeah, that last individual in particular is subscribed to True Crime Design, who basically believes Koberger was framed also. So, do you think True Crime Design has been working that Brian is innocent mess for 2 years? By your logic, True Crime Design has zero credibility as well, right? So you're subscribed to someone who has exposed the same crap that the chaos has exposed? Oh, let me guess, it's just the chaos. You see, we deal with the trolls, we deal with the DC agents, and we call them out, it's no problem. Won't block them, won't report them. It's fine. They get their 15 seconds of being called out in the episode. Anywho, yet, apparently the proof she had, the video was taken down. How can the individual who referred the chaos to Lana to confirm this claim prove it, if Lana took down the proof? Now some claim she didn't take it down, it was removed. Nevertheless, there is no physical proof that we can go by, just what everyone is claiming. Let's continue. Mark B. claimed that Carfax stated the vehicle was green in 2018 through 19, which is what Lana cited in photos of the individual via his social media. We checked Mark B.'s channel, and there isn't documented proof that the vehicle was lime green prior to the murders. We still have this hunch that this vehicle was white or silver, and after the murders it was painted or wrapped lime green. Could be wrong, that's fine. Unquote. Okay, now the vehicle apparently was gray or silver, right? Obviously. But what we're trying to figure out is, was the vehicle painted lime green before the murders or after the murders? Because the only evidence presented is this photo during the demolition, which is obviously after the murders, and several photos of the vehicle, yet there isn't documented proof with a date of when those photos were taken. Actually, the video from Mark B. titled Idaho 4, The Queen Road Elantra Coincidence, has a date. The photo of his examination is January 13th, 2024. And the real-time examination is January 17th, 2024. We literally checked all throughout his content, and there is not one video that is showing this same vehicle with documented proof that it was painted or wrapped prior to the murders. Yet everyone is claiming this proof exists? The home was demolished in December of 2023, and that's when the lime green Elantra was spotted, as seen here. So if Mark B. is displaying the same lime green Elantra a month later, yet there isn't any documented proof this Elantra was lime green prior to the demolition and ultimately the murders, how can we confirm it? Now he had the rear license plate blocked off, for privacy reasons, yet he has the vehicle's license plate, and even searched the vehicle on Carfax, and obtained all of the information about the vehicle and the owner? Why prevent others from seeing the license plate, yet you felt you had the right to view it and search the vehicle? That sounds strange, you see? The chaos never addresses issues within this community, unless there is something suspicious. If the chaos had obtained this vehicle, we wouldn't block out the license plate, because it wouldn't be fair to view it and prevent others from viewing it. That's not practicing, get this, truth and transparency. What if someone could link that vehicle to the murders doing the same tracking you're doing, and all of a sudden, someone who wasn't a part of the investigation gets introduced as a suspect, as it's their Hyundai Elantra that was spotted, you know what, whatever. Lana claims that lime green Elantra is the one spotted on Ridge Road. Quote, meet your Ridge Road Elantra at 4:01 a.m. facts. Unquote. And someone stated that Mark B. is a moderator in her streams and the information source for Lana. And Mark B. apparently believes it's the same lime green Elantra. Others claim that it is due to the lighting of the cameras and such, meaning that it was actually lime green during the time frame the murders occurred. Others claim it isn't the same vehicle. So this shows that these individuals have their opinions about the vehicle and its relevance to the murders. Which brings us all the way back to what we posed as a possibility.
Someone stated, oh, they have a screenshot of the Carfax information. Well, this vehicle is being presented as a possible suspect based on the claim the lime green color can't be detected in surveillance. So where is the information? It should be making its rounds in the true crime community, right? It's a potential suspect on one hand, and then based on others' claims, it's literally the Elantra spotted in surveillance, alleged to be Koberger. So there should be an investigation with this individual, right? Mind you, the vehicle was already talked about prior to what everyone is focusing on now. So during that time frame, I'm assuming the same concept applied about the vehicle's lime green color not being detected in surveillance. You know what? Let's continue. There's something fishy going on. Now let's examine the vehicle in question. From the exhibit, we have Exhibit A, the side view. Now we added a soft skin and filter to clear out all of the pixelation just for more visual clarity. As we see, this vehicle is not lime green. We can accept that it's a white Hyundai Elantra, sure. Then we have Exhibit B, the front view. We didn't crop this image. This is how it appears in the document. Makes you wonder why they didn't want to display the entire vehicle. As you see, though, this also appears to be a Hyundai Elantra. Well, it can pass for one. Now, Pavarotti claimed that this is the lime green Elantra, based on the front bumper damage, which many claim is the same damage on the lime green Elantra. Then we have Exhibit C, the rear view of the vehicle. Keep in mind, this is presented as being the same white Hyundai Elantra in the exhibit. Now here's the problem. Let's go back to Exhibit A. Is that lime green? Of course not. It's white. Yet, if some are claiming that this vehicle in motion is the same vehicle in the other exhibit snapshots, we have a problem. Because if Pavarotti claims that the other vehicles are the lime green Elantra, then we have two Elantras driving around, because this one is definitely not lime green. If the lime green Elantra was the one in the side view snapshot, you would definitely see the lime green color. That vehicle is driving past a street light, and the light reflecting off of the body would definitely display the lime green color. Lime green is a lighter color, of course, but it would definitely detected, which would display a lime green Elantra zipping by. But it's not a lime green Elantra zipping by, it's a white Elantra, or even light silver. So there's a mystery, like we mentioned, about the lime green Elantra. It is alleged that the lime green Elantra was the vehicle spotted by the neighbor's security camera, based on a greenish hue detected. Well, we don't agree, but it's possible, I guess. More importantly, though, is there clearly are two Elantras in everyone's analysis. You have many claiming that the lime green Elantra is the vehicle zipping around, and the lime green color wouldn't be detected in most cameras. We would agree, a camera in night vision mode wouldn't be able to display that color. Yet, the problem is Exhibit A is definitely not lime green. And that introduces another Elantra into the mix, traveling around in that neighborhood, during the time frame the murders occurred. It's a split decision, it seems. Some agree it's the same lime green Elantra, while others don't agree. We don't agree, just for the vote. And what about the white vehicle speeding down White Avenue around 3:45 a.m.? We haven't forgotten about that one. Some claim it's not an Elantra, but even if it isn't, it was speeding to somewhere at 3:45 a.m., which by our estimation, the murders had already happened. Come to think about it, that vehicle was basically swept under the rug once Moscow PD ruled it out. Yet, since it was speeding down the road during a time frame the murders would have occurred, it would have been interesting to know exactly where that vehicle ended up, right? Well, the surveillance snapshots released from that gas station shows the vehicle at the intersection, but the actual surveillance footage was never released. So we don't know which direction it headed. It was suggested it headed out of town, but we don't have any evidence to confirm this. In conclusion here, we are not trying to attack anyone. I think this is evident based on the questions and points we've raised. We only want to verify the date in which that Elantra was painted lime green. It determines a lot, because in our eyes, if you thought a white Elantra was a light bulb at night, then a lime green Elantra would stick out even more. It just doesn't make sense for a lime green Elantra to be zipping around involved in the crime, and then calmly nest itself in the same neighborhood. Surely they would be paranoid about their lime green Elantra being spotted by surveillance cameras that detect color. Something is off, and we're trying to figure it out. Oh, and the chaos not trusting someone doesn't mean that anyone else shouldn't trust them. Think for yourself, you know? Come to your own conclusions, but also understand this is an opinion. And just like that person may not trust the chaos or think we're, quote, are all over the place with speculation, hey, to each their own. Many have their opinions about others. Some choose not to voice it. Some choose to allude to those individuals, and others flat out address them directly. The point, though, don't take offense on someone else's behalf. It's not your battle to fight. Everyone is held accountable, including us. To the individual who claimed they took a snapshot of the Carfax information, could you please share that with the community? Because apparently no one has the information or is not willing to provide it. Also, the lime green Elantra is officially a suspect now in many people's eyes. This is the Chaos Sector.